freaking chilling out here in the freaking in the dark. In the Bible it says that people love darkness because their deeds are evil. See, when they're talking about them, they might be like in a dark club with some music playing in the background, but they don't like it this freaking dark. Like right now, it is so fucking dark. Can't do shit. I love the dark. I mean, not because my deeds are evil. It's just because there's less people to f with you. Because no one's willing, I guess, under these harsh conditions here, hang around. So I mean, therefore, I got free reign to be kind of like a mad scientist in a way. So I like to do crafts and stuff. But under these freaking circumstances here, it's so fucking difficult that they're so dark. I can't enjoy it. I can hardly enjoy it. There's brief moments, full moon. You at least you're not stepping in on a rock or kicking a log. But like right here, if I went walking off behind me, I'd probably get hit in the eye with the freaking stick. It's like that. And everywhere I go, it doesn't matter how cautious I try to be. I keep kicking things over, bumping into things, and it's freaking frustrating. And like I said, I'm supposed to be the ninja and love the dark and be able to see in the dark, but that's not quite how it works. You know what I'm saying? And if it gets dark enough, it's just like I'm just like everyone else, man. It's awkward. But it's like it made me think about desolate places. Like, see, there's only a few reasons you would be in a desolate place, or a highway and a byway, or on the road in between towns. It's like, one, you're like Robin Hood, you're a freaking criminal, and you're in, or like Jesse James, or Ali Baba and the 40 freaking Thieves. You gotta go where, like it's, once again, you got free reign in a way. You know what I'm saying? No law to hinder your, your plots and schemes. Your trolls under the bridge, shaking kids down for milk money, basically. See, so you're a criminal or an outcast. Here's another reason: you're freaking lost. Okay. And that can happen to anyone who's which would lead to another one. It's called traveling. If you're going somewhere to either, for whatever reason, and it kind of comes with this travel light. You gotta get what you can on the way and make it happen. So there's another reason that someone would be deep out in a desolate wilderness area. Here's a few other reasons. See, you could get lost out there, but some people go out there to get lost on purpose in a way. Because for some reason, when you no interactions, no one can F up your day, only you can out there. I mean, the conditions can F it up, like when it rains out here. It's been really miserable. The mosquitoes, freaking miserable feeling. And like I said, I love night. I like to run around, kick some trees, sling some stones, break some beer bottles, you know what I'm saying, down some alleys. But I ain't hurt no one. This is, I'm out. I'm not trying to get, look, like I said, once again, you go straight into the scary, dark, out of the way area to avoid real threats. That are the real threats, they lay in the way. They're on the road. They're at the corners. They're at the crossroads, like police. You ever see police in a speed trap? It'll be 55, it'll drop to 45, then it'll drop to 25, like in 100 feet. And then there'll be a police station right there as the sign drops. And they'll just be camped out there. That's kind of like a stumbling block. And it's the same way freaking Alibaba and them work, and the trolls on the bridge, basically. So I mean, just want to show you that there. In order to escape the king's men, you basically got to go to Sherwood's frickin' forest. And once again, here's another reason. There's spiritual reasons to go to a remote area. In Second Ezra's, I was trying to tell someone about. They were like, I've been fasting and praying, and I'm like, well, that's good, but in this environment you're in, there's hindering spirits here and distractions here, so you can't really hit what you're aiming for. If you're gonna do all that, why not go get a vision, get a revelation? You know what I'm saying? And in Second Ezra's, it talks about how an angel instructs him to go to a place that's so remote that anywhere you look, that it's got to be natural, where no man has disturbed it. Once again, I mean, place is so remote, you won't even find a dead body buried out there because it's just that freaking remote. And those shitty of conditions, there's no freaking reason really to be out there unless you're lost, or you're traveling, or you're on some kind of vision quest, or a fast, or a spiritual, where you want to go pray and you don't want no one around to distract you. And once again, or to test yourself. That's another reason to go get lost, is just to test yourself and see if you got the iron to not crack. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of hermit types live a solitary life, and the only place you can get really solitary is in a place that is so undesirable no one else would freaking go there. Once again, when it's so this fucking dark, it's hard to have any fun, in a way. It just makes it really difficult. So, and then the remoteness is another. It's an advantage, because look, it's like if you're so freaking remote, if anyone wants to come get you, they got to go travel all this way, go through all these fucking obstacles and barriers. So it puts a big hedge around you. You know what I'm saying? In a way. And if you're used to that environment and they're not, you'll always have the upper hand. You'll know how to hide. You'll know how to disappear. You'll know the lay of the land. And for instance, like John the Baptist, this guy lived out in the wilderness, and this is like a prophet. And only way to go see the guy is go out into the freaking woods and find him, in a way. He probably had like, oh, I'll be here on this day. If you want baptism, this is where I'm at. Search for me here or find me here. I'm not sure how it worked, but he's a guy who was certainly remote. See, Jesus would roll through the city, and then he would go preaching, and then he'd dip out, and then he'd be in the high country, or the in between cities. Same thing there. Same thing with Paul. In Acts, he's always on boats. He's always he's in chains, getting dragged from city to city. It's not never. Even Jesus said, he says, look, the birds have nests and the foxes have dens and holes, but I have nowhere to lay my head. You know what I'm saying? On this planet. Because, when in the wilderness, when Satan tempted him, Satan says to him, hey, whoever I choose to be king, to basically be the man who could sell the world, he goes, I can do it. In the same fashion that the centurion says, when I tell a man to come, he comes. And when I tell them to go, they go. And if I tell them to do this, they do it. And Jesus says, oh, I have not found so much faith, not in Israel. But anyway, same thing. Satan there, he's like, look, whoever I choose to be a king, it's like he had that kind of pull. So he does have kind of like a deed or something, or a claim to certain worldly estates. You know what I'm saying? But Jesus just declined the offer. And it's like someone said, oh, Satan doesn't have that authority or ability. But if you look at the world now, it says that if you realize the truth, you'll see that this whole world lie in the wicked one. And surely it does. You know what I'm saying? that's another reason why you'd have to go remote or wilderness is to escape the tyranny of this satanic freaking world. You know what I'm saying? Moses, same thing. He got outcasted from Egypt, hit the freaking desert, the desolate place, found an oasis or whatever, and he threw a tent up, and freaking God comes to him in the burning bush situation. He's like, "Take off your sandals. You're on holy ground." And once again, it's like that sounds like a second Ezra area where it was really remote. Or same thing with Jacob, when he wrestled with the angel and seen the ladder and all that. And also, I'm familiar with the terminology of fasting, especially for vision, spiritual visions. I mean, it applies. The Indians used to do it too, and I read it in Hiawatha about how a fast, an Indian fast, was done, and they basically go build a temporary teepee or a wigwam, and they just go sit in it, and all they do is drink water. And they'll have their like grandmother or someone will come and check up every now and then and bring water and make sure you're not dead, because that's the kind of fast they would do. They would do it so long that they could die. And it's documented in that. Even though, like I said, it's interesting to glean that little bit from that text of Hiawatha. I know it's a lot of it is poetic and allegory and adapted tales and retellings maybe in certain instances of the book, but that doesn't mean that the whole thing in a whole is totally false. I mean, you can glean some little tidbits of truth out of there, or at least you can get a better idea and reference point to the Indian way of life. You know what I'm saying? From that book, even though it was. And here's the thing: sometimes people themselves don't even realize their self. It takes an outsider sometimes to come in and tell your story that you couldn't tell yourself because you couldn't see it, because it's just so normal to you. And you actually need an outsider sometimes to come and look and analyze it and break it down. It's kind of how these things work here too. And there's the whole country mouse, city mouse story. And you see that kind of play out, where there is a kind of hostility and hatred for city people against people who live on the outskirts, or the plains people, the tent people, and the wilderness dwellers, man, because they seem really spooked out. They call them, they're witchy warlocks because they live in the woods. They make up. But then again, they say, in the city, they're all thugs and gangbangers. I mean, it's the same old, there's a lion in the road type of a mindset. And it's just like, look, the boogeyman. The boogeyman gets you if you go outside. Look, you see how dark it is right here? All you can see is this light I got here, like a daylight saver thing, and it charges a little cell, and it shoots off a light at night. Look. And it's just reflecting off my glasses, at least to give you a reference point. But anyway, these are just scare tactics, you know what I'm saying? Like neoconservative type of scare tactics that they've always used to discourage desegregation. You know what I'm saying? And in a way, you set people free from segregation, but it's self-imposed segregation, because there's all these stereotypes and boogeymans. And then there is some real truth to thugs and gangbangers, and all the fucking KKK will get you out there. You know what I'm saying? There is truth to that. But look, it's still just a lion in the freaking road. And any man, a wise man foreseeth the danger and go around. You know what I'm saying? But a fool goes in and gets got, basically. You know what I'm saying? So even if you can slip and slide and dive and roll in and out without kicking up no dust or making waves, in either the reverse of either situation,